Egypt.
Good evening, Ghana. Welcome to another edition of the Men's Lounge. Time check, it's 9 p.m. and obviously you don't need me to tell you. Last week, we spoke about what men look out for before they finally say, I do. We found out a lot of things. We had Amartey, the man who never walks alone. And we also had Malcolm Fraser. He has a very nice name, but he's a local boy with a foreign name. That's very interesting. So this week, now, anyone can father a child, but being a dad takes a lifetime. Fathers and father figures play a critical role in shaping the lives of their children. On Men's Lounge today, we are going to talk about the roles the fathers play in the development of their kids. Again, one thing I need to remind you of is the fact that this week precedes the Sunday that makes the Father's Day. So grandfathers, stepfathers, fathers, great-grandfathers are all fathers. It's been a bit silent. We'll blame the women, definitely, because if it was their turn, we start shopping, we start making the noise, and everybody knows it's Mother's Day. But Father's Day and the women are asleep. Anyway, I'll take my first commercial break, and when I'm back, I'll introduce to you my guest for today, and then we set the ball rolling. Please stay right there. Also, welcome back to the Men's Lounge. And before I left, I told you I'll be introducing my guests. But before that, again, let me tell you something that's been going on. So, Live Inside, Win the Ride. It started. And I'm sure if you've gone by them all, you've seen the people in the ride. Unfortunately, one of them is already gone. Currently, we have Ada, Selom, Dennis, and Aram. Now we are trying to figure out who is going to win. Obviously, stay inside the ride for as long as possible and be the winner in the end. Well, we wish all of them good luck. We'll see how that goes. If you want to see them, just go by the mall, and you get to see how that happens. Just as I always do, I'll have the guests introduce themselves the best way possible for themselves so that I don't have to make any mistake. Before that, I'll just welcome them, and I'll allow them to do that. Gentlemen, welcome.
Yeah, thanks.
So I'll start with you. Tell us who you are, and we move on.
Well, my name is Amartey. I've been asked several times, why do you repeat your name? It's not a repeat. Amartey. And I'm a father.
Nice. Amartey is a father. Bossman.
Okay, my name is Seth, Sylvester, Dadzie. I like to be called Fifi, especially by my wife. I'm also a father.
Hold on. I shouldn't call you Fifi. Only your wife should call you Fifi.
I love it when she calls me Fifi.
You're in the lounge. So what? So we can't call you Fifi.
Well, if you call me
Okay,
Fifi,
fine,
I'm fine. But
we'll call you Sylvester. Sylvester is fine.
My wife knows how to do it best.
Charlie.
Oh, you just have to make your words sound like
Fifi.
All right, good. All right, so gentlemen, welcome. I haven't seen you in a long time, though.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's been up and down. And, I mean, yeah.
But
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, good to see you again. Yeah. Good to see you. And Sylvester, you know, before we started, I was discussing something with Sylvester. It has to do with this issue of someone wanting to commit suicide or whatever, kill himself. I don't know what he... and nowhere else than the Parliament House. I mean, really?
Yeah, he knows...
Do we call such people men?
Well, he knows he will be saved. I mean, nobody's going to stand by.
Of course, he's not a man then. Look, if I were there, I would have just said, look, let's allow him. Okay, kill yourself and let us see.
Yeah, but you could be held for...
Who could be held?
Yeah, I mean, you watch when you could save a life.
Well, let's just say I wear some dark shades. Everybody thinks I can see. Perhaps I'm blind. Yeah. You know how you walk by the street and you see people wearing that thing. 50% are blind. They can't even see. And we think they can see, but they can't.
Yeah, but I mean, that will be left to your conscience. I mean,
anyway.
Yeah, so you save a life when you can, but it's also advisable to let them know that, look, the world out there is such a nice world. You don't decide to kill yourself just like that. I mean, there are a lot of things to keep you going. Yeah.
So, like I said earlier, today we'll be discussing the role of a father. I'm glad to have you fathers join me. I am a father too. I've got a 5-year-old going on 6. Oh. But one question that I always like to ask others when I meet them, practically we'll be discussing, like I said, the role of a father in the development of their child. At some point, we will look at the boy child more specifically. But one thing I always like to know, because I had a certain feeling when I saw my child being born. And then I always ask, what was it like? How did you feel that very moment, your very first one? What was the feeling like?
I must say, you've always been a bad boy. And telling me what you're telling me now, confirms my... But let me go on. Don't come in yet.
Okay, all right, you go on. I'll come back to you. I know I'll get you at some point.
Yeah. So that feeling, I think, is mutual. I mean, it's a situation where you get to see what I refer to as my creation. And seeing my creation come into the world, a world of bitterness and sweetness. And you have a huge responsibility on your shoulders to make sure, though the bitterness might come back, the sweetness should be enjoyed by the little baby who didn't ask you to give birth to him in the first place. Yeah, so that feeling was great. It was joyous, but it was somewhat a mixed feeling because you also are thinking of whether you are capable enough to handle him. There are situations where you tend to have helpers coming in from maternal, paternal areas just to help out. Yeah, but you wouldn't want to become a laughing stock behind your back. And so you want to take it all up and shoulder it all alone. But you keep wondering whether you can do it and do it well. And so, yes, the firstborn, very, very happy scenario, especially when you view it when it's so tiny and wouldn't even know how it is like or where he is at the moment, and then will be crying and writhing and turning and twisting and stretching and that feeling. Oh, lovely.
This is mine.
This is mine. My creation.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. And it's lovely. I mean, and anybody who comes around congratulates you, although the woman is the one in pain, but you are congratulated most.
Well, of course, you are the man.
Well, don't become something that a woman might throw a punch at this evening.
Well, look, they do that all the time since we started. They punch us every day. And what else? It doesn't change us. We are still men.
Yeah.
I want to sleep well when I sleep tonight, so I don't want to have jabs.
Sounds like Madame is watching. Sylvester, your first time, the very first one you had.
It's a memory I have always cherished, and I don't think it would ever leave me.
Was it a boy or a girl?
A boy. I've got 2 boys.
Wow. The guy's got trouble in his house.
I tell you, he turned the whole place upside down every now and then. I had to go back home to pick up some new stuffs, and then I got there and they told me, wow, he's in. I was like, wow. I wanted to see him, and when they brought him up, I was like, Charlie, so am I responsible for him? The mixed feelings he just talked about, it was there. And then I knew from that moment, I'm never the same again. The way I do my things, I have to, because now someone is depending on me. And so it's a great feeling. It's so great.
That feeling?
Yeah.
Well, I should be asking myself, okay, so Nanaya, how did you also feel? I'll tell you. So that very day, I got there and the nurse outside just saw me, no questions. All she said is, oh, I know where you are going to. She just led me to the room and I saw the little girl. I have a daughter, like I said. I looked at the girl, I looked at the mirror, looked at my face, I'm like, oh God, really? At least make it easy for me to sometimes turn my back.
A photocopy.
Complete. You can't deny. Complete.
Wow.
But it was such an exciting feeling. I mean,
Yeah.
I am one person who loves kids, and so that day it was something else for me. But again, you see, one of the things that again pricks our mind is that, so this point we are excited. What next? What comes to mind next? Money for cocoa, as people will say.
Yeah.
And then the other challenges. I've been wondering, from that point, does anything change with you being a man?
Yeah, a lot would come in. He ended by saying somebody now depends on him.
On you, yeah.
So now I have a daughter, yes, firstborn daughter.
Nice.
And then 2 boys coming after
Nice.
her. And I like to see her because she takes charge. You know, she likes to control them and to make them fall in line.
What you are saying kind of has some link. Right? She takes charge and Madam, anyway.
Well, so...
Are you trying to say Madam takes charge?
Oh, she has
Madam is
a
in
role
charge.
as well. But the little one, I mean, she's 15 now.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Now
nice.
Melly,
Wow.
yeah. She likes taking charge. Now, a lot will change. The idea is the number of times you go out with friends, the amount of money you spend on drinks,
It has to come home this time.
frivolities, you know, you have to begin to rethink that, look, I have a dependent, and in spite of the fact that she still remains a little lady, you have to know, this gentleman, was it KK Kabobo, was saying something that the child only cries when there's no cocoa in the morning. So when your neighbors hear your child crying constantly, they know you have no money for cocoa.
Being irresponsible, perhaps.
And yeah, and so you need to guard against that. And guarding against that also means that you know there has to be a plan now, a plan of savings, a plan of, you know, trying to get your own apartment, a plan of, you know, getting dresses. Definitely you give money out, but the money should also take care of the little one. I mean, what clothes to wear, shoes, protective clothes and stuff like that. So it comes with a lot of responsibilities and a lot will change. There are times you go to work and you need to hurry home because that's your first child. You need to be by the child. You need to bond with the child. You need to make sure the child grows up to know you. And so whilst that, you like to play with her, you know, cuddle her.
Yeah.
I mean, make her feel special. She might not know it, but they learn a lot even whilst in the womb, because the umbilical cord is the connecting phone line to the outside world. So whatever thing.
So you see, that is the point where the mothers have a way of always turning the kids against us.
Yeah.
You know you're at work and then, Coach, what time are you coming home today? What Kwabena has done at home, you have no idea. You just get when you start beating the child. And then the mother again, oh, Kwabena, come.
Yeah.
So it started from that time.
Started
Because
from
then they
that
communicate with them even when they are in there,
So,
through that cord.
That is what he's trying to say. That's their first relationship. The first relationship they have is always with the mother. You know, they are in them, they come and they feed them first. You see, so naturally the firstborn is with the mother before we come in there. So in my instance, like the question you gave, for me, the changes started coming when I realized I was going to be a father.
That was even before the
Before
child
he
was
came
born.
in, yes. So naturally, I don't like going out excessively if I should.
Oh, you didn't
But-
meet me earlier.
I
You should have
think-
met him.
Yeah.
You'll be out.
Okay. So
But I shouldn't say those ones.
Well, that's all right.
Yeah.
But you know, the men who don't go out,
Yeah.
they like worrying madam too much. I mean,
Yeah. Let Madam be free. Yeah.
madam is free, you know.
But you see, there's one thing. So when you were speaking, you spoke about how you know, the changes begin now. Even if you go home late, you begin to come home early.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to, you know, bear some of the responsibilities. Considering our kind of complexities in the jobs we do, our corporate world and everything, how do we cope?
It's difficult.
Is it?
Very, very, very difficult. Combining family with work, but it must not be at the expense of other. We must always find a way through. I go out most of the time, I travel, but when I have to be at home, and I'm home, I'm always with my kids. So they get the best out of me when I'm around. I play with them, I'm their friend, they want to tell me what they did at school and all that. So if they don't see me in the night, then they want to find out, Mommy, where is Daddy? So Mommy has to tell me, Daddy has traveled and he'll be coming tomorrow. Let me talk to Daddy. And so that is it. I can't always be in the house. I need to put food on the table. But when I'm away or when I even come home, I make sure at least they have me as their daddy. You know, I play, we do all those things, you know, so.
I reckon, I mean, current society changes and even technology helps in keeping in contact with these kids even as you are away.
I remember that wasn't the time in our time, and your dad is on transfer and you don't get to speak to him. If you have to speak to him, you have to book a call. Wait for some months before you can.
Oh, you wait for some months?
Oh yeah, some months. And even then, not all persons have phone lines in their homes. So you have to tell your neighbor, well, I need to book a call. Can I use your phone number? And then on the appointed date, you go and sit by the phone in the morning.
Wow.
And you don't know what time
the call will come. You're just expecting it.
Yeah, and I remember many guests coming to our homes and the phone goes like ring and then, hello, Kwame. And then, oh no, may I speak with,
no.
And then you still sit by the phone.
You still wait till yours comes through.
We've advanced.
Yeah.
And I guess you remember when in Liman's era, Liman had to make a direct call and speak with the Queen of England. It was a big deal in Ghana. And it was a big deal. I mean, from 6 o'clock in the morning, people trooped to the stadium. The chiefs in their regalia and stuff.
It was a whole day.
It was a whole day. Look, the only thing was that it was not a holiday, but it was everything else.
It would have been a carnival.
And the call came in the evening, around 5, when Liman came and said hello to the Queen. And everybody went like, man, it was a tumultuous day. Yeah, today you can make a call direct to the UK and then
you just get talking.
We really come
a long way.
A long way.
We have come a long way indeed.
We've come a long way.
Yeah,
and the idea is courtship is also very necessary in answering this question as to how you manage. So you get to know your partner and get to know her well. So that in times like this, when you have to go to work, even when the baby is at a tender age, there should be that understanding. If you have to travel, if there should be some transfers and stuff, there should be a way out. But you know what? Because it's your first creation, and I'm using creation, you know, in a certain way. Yeah, because it's your first, you always are itching to come. You are always itching to come around, see her or him, and have fun. And so, anytime you are away, you will be, you know, wishing to come back to the baby, and it helps. And especially that little gap you create by going in the morning and coming around 4 or 5 p.m. I mean, it creates a certain hungry feeling for you to have that child back in your arms. And it's so great. But like he said, any moment you have to be with them, you need to make them feel special. So that on occasions when you are away, you know that they know when you are around, you make their day special.
And so it's very well understandable.
It's understandable.
Guys, if you're just joining us, it's the Men's Lounge as usual. Feel free to join us on our WhatsApp pages, which is 020-2222-054. Send us your thoughts, send us your messages, and then we'll read them accordingly. We'll take our very first break, and we'll be back shortly. Stay tuned. Tomorrow, you've seen that investment tip over there. Invest in quality investment. Be sure of the company, be sure of whatever product it is, be sure of the returns, and be sure it has the right backing. Lately, Sylvester, I have seen this thing going around called Loom, and I hear people pay 50 and you get that. In the past, we've had some men's gold. Recently, I've seen one that I call women's gold. I've seen this beautiful lady with some advert.
So appealing. You want to rush there with your money.
Sylvester said it. He says he's ready. I mean, he has some money to dash out already to that woman.
It's good to invest.
It is.
But now, you said we should be sure when we are investing. How sure can we be?
No, the idea is before you go into any kind of investment, at least you can read around it.
Yeah.
And then talk to people. But intuitively, look, when the premium or the interest promised
is too high,
is such a gargantuan thing.
That word. Gargantuan.
Yeah. You need to rethink before sending your money there. Because the only way you could be baited is for the person to give you that huge promise.
So much attractive.
So much, and then you want to rush there. And look, some of them were caught in the UK. You know, they go to you, tell you they can double your money for you.
Yeah.
And indeed, when they come, you want to try them with some small money. So you give them about $100.
And they double it.
And then they will double it to $200. And then the next time, you come with some $500. They'll still add some 500 by pretending to have doubled for you. So the next time you go and bring your millions, they'll come and pretend to be doubling. And then they'll pick your money into whatever haversack they brought. And then we'll tell you that because it is huge, it will take about 2 hours for the doubling to take full effect.
That's your end.
And so you let them hang around, and so they will walk around and then they leave you. And that's your doomsday. See, once they and they know humans as we are, we're gullible and greedy.
Very.
And once that element of greed can be traced in every one of us, they always make sure that they can get anybody. Look, this guy said he was a sixth former, left Ghana for the US, and had been able to rob doctors, professors, people who you want to cite as the #1 thinkers when it comes to things like this. But they fall prey to it, more often than not.
Yeah.
They are the silent, greedy ones.
Yes, and certain names were mentioned in Ghana, and they all refused to cooperate with the police.
Of course.
Because they say, "Oh no, I didn't do it," but they quietly suffered, and quietly let go.
Yeah.
So before you get into any kind of investment, you need to be very careful. Read around it, ask questions from friends, and make sure that premium or interest you're being promised will not exceed what you think should be your yearly income. That cannot happen.
And I also think the amount you even put in there. You see, you don't, for me, I think you don't put all your money
Eggs in one basket.
It's not allowed.
Yeah.
It's not allowed. Even if you are so much assured, you are not allowed to put all your eggs in one basket. If it falls, you're gone.
You're gone. It's true. I've been reading a lot of things from Mr. Kojo Adaimensa. Currently, I think he's the CEO of the Data Bank. And one thing he always says is, when it sounds too good to be true, it's actually a call for you to investigate.
Yes.
When it sounds too good to be true, it's a call for you to investigate. Well, that's some free consultancy for us over here.
And then again, those companies that had made a name,
Yeah.
I mean, you have...
They are there.
They are there.
Very obvious.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
they don't promise that huge amount.
That's why he says when it sounds too good to be true,
Yeah.
it's called for you to investigate. So going back to our discussion, the absence of a father, more like an irresponsible sort of a father, what effect does it have on kids? Developing the kids.
Well, let me take a first bite. You know, women are very good at handling the home, but you need the voice, the strong voice and the physical presence of the man in order for you to achieve your goal of developing that child. Now, if the man especially is absent, especially if you have three boys,
Like Sylvester has there.
Yeah.
you need to be careful. I've seen strong women. In fact, I grew up with my grand aunt, and I think from the age of 7 or so, she was a strong woman. But we always found, a way around her. The physical presence of the man is always a necessary tool, because it will, look, you cited an instance where the women report the children to us, and then we come back.
We don't even ask questions.
No, we just beat them, because
Of course,
mother would never tell a lie.
Yeah.
And then mother would then fetch the child, and so that with time, if you don't take time and you act robotically, every time the child is reported to you about something wrong he has done, you beat the child. You create a wedge.
Yeah.
Instead of bonding, you create a wedge. Now, many, many times when we are all grown, perhaps on retirement, and these kids are now the working persons around us, look, when they come visiting, if you like your pipe, they buy you the tobacco or something, and then they come, and they don't spend 2 minutes with you because there's a wedge.
Yeah.
Yeah. They go to the kitchen and stay there for 3 hours with their mom. They chat, they laugh.
You know the annoying part? You sit there and you hear them laughing.
Yeah.
And you wonder what they're laughing about. Yeah.
But you see, some of the times we also, because the majority of the responsibility falls on us, we tend to be extra hard in order to keep them in line. Like the child not doing well in school, he likes playing football, watching TV, you need to bring up the whip every now and then. You don't want your money to go down the drain. So you beat them up, you do things. And so in addition to what the woman reports to you, you create a deeper gully, a wedge. Now, when that happens, in their old age, that gap cannot be narrowed. And so when they come, you really don't have anything much to talk about.
Yeah.
And you always have the newspaper covering your face, and then you'll be looking at them as they chit-chat in the kitchen, above the rim of your glasses, and pretend you're reading. And there's that overfeeling of jealousy sometimes and pain. But even if they come to sit by you, they try to create jokes like, Dad, we thought it was grey, but now it's gone. Your hair is all gone. The sun is too harsh, and then it dries up.
Yeah.
Then you pick up another thing. This walking stick. I thought you left it years back. When you chased us and shipped us with those walking sticks.
They actually come to remind you.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh, those days. Never mind. Yeah, this walking stick. You know, it dries up. Yeah. And so they come visiting, spend 2 minutes with you, spend 3 hours with their mom, and then they go away. And so currently, what fathers should do, I know we'll come there, but what is expected is that you don't become too hard. Look, they are your friends. You bond with them, they are your friends. And once you make...
So let me just hold you on here.
Okay.
We'll come back to you. So I have a doctor on the line. His name is Dr. Charles Kwamina Akon. He is the current CEO of Mungel Clicks Limited, and which is a vision-driven and result-oriented person endowed with an outstanding leadership quality. He also has kids, and we are going to talk to him. Doctor, good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Welcome to the Men's Lounge. Welcome. Let's hear you, boss.
Yes. Thank you for the opportunity, and my greetings to your viewers.
We're here. We're listening.
Yeah, I think this is a fantastic opportunity. I really enjoyed the comment by me Amartey. I'm really enjoying the comment. I think my other panelist is also making fantastic statement.
Doctor, thank you very much. But one quick question for you. Could you tell us what influence your father has been to you?
Oh, this is my greatest. This is one of my most exciting.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, so I was asking that, can you share with us what particular influence your father has been to you?
Oh, thank you. My father, though belated, is very cherished by me. My father, may his soul rest in peace, had 3 key roles for me. And this I enjoyed very much. I believe that it brought me to where I am by the grace of God. He was my protector, he was my provider, and he was my priest.
I see. And so obviously who you are today practically depends on him, I guess.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. By the grace of God. Because without God, of course, all his efforts would have come to nothing.
We all totally agree with you. So, coming Sunday is the Father's Day. Any particular expectation, any wish for the fathers?
To all Ghanaian fathers, to all fathers of the world, I want to say that, are you cool? It's not easy to be a father. I have 2 boys, 2 great boys, 15 years and 14.
Wow.
And it's been a great joy. I think me Amartey was saying it. I mean, it's been a great joy experiencing them from birth to the stage they are in now. You know, as a working father, as a CEO, you have lots of responsibilities. And you need to couple this with fatherly responsibility or homely responsibility. But what I would say to all fathers is that, yes, we have a unique role, which is not being, loudmouth, loudmouth out there. We are doing a great job. But I believe that we should pray more. Fathers should pray more. Fathers should plan more. Fathers should relate more with the members of the family. And lastly, the fathers, as fathers, we should commit more.
So fathers, pray more, plan more, and then commit more.
Relate more and commit more.
That's deep. That's deep, Doc.
You know, because when you plan, you are able to prioritize. Vital, essential, non-essential.
Yeah.
And of course, when you pray, when I say pray, I'm not just talking about staying out there shouting, clapping your hands, stamping your feet, and killing some people. You know.
Yeah.
You know, but when you pray as a family, it kind of bonds you. You know, it bonds the family. It expresses. You should see my home when my children are praying. It's such an exciting experience. You know, they relate to God normally, like you are speaking to your father.
Yeah.
And this is it. And on the commitment side, when you commit to your family, not just your family, but your neighbors, all of that, it helps you to keep your way and keep your shadow.
That's interesting. That's very interesting, Doc. Looks like there's so much you have to share. What we will do is we probably will bring you a third seat so that you join us next time so that we can do more. Yes, we will add a seat, just a special seat for you, Doc. So I'll have you join us probably soon so that we can talk more on this. Thank you very much for being part of us this evening. We really appreciate your call, and we'll be expecting to read and hear more from you. Thank you very much, Doctor, and happy Father's Day in advance.
And my regards to all the co-panelists, me, for your wonderful experience about the June 4th, the Liman, sorry.
All right, so thank you very much for joining us, Doc.
You are welcome. Thank you. Good night.
Yes, good night. So Doctor bringing up some OB names, and you know, that's just by the way, but yeah, I think he's doing a great job. Yeah. Having two boys, 15 and 14, it's no joke. Already Sylvester is shouting.
You know what?
At all. You know.
I have 15 and 14 myself, and each time people ask, I say, well, I don't know how that came about. I mean, 15, 14. And they aren't twins, you know. Initially, I thought I was going to give it to a set of twins, but when I didn't get, I tried creating my own. So I narrowed the gap.
That's wicked.
If not for the father, you need to respect the 9 months mandatory biological, period.
Yeah.
I'm sure I would have collapsed it to some 1 day, 2 days.
That'll be a record. Eh? So before Doc came in, I think we were at a point where we're talking about the absence of a father, considering the sort of irresponsible kind of a father. But again, it begs me to ask that what about those who don't even have a father at all? I mean, those whose fathers perhaps they lost their fathers much earlier, or those whose parents practically raised them all by themselves, whose mothers, to say, raised them all by themselves.
You know, I want to take it from this angle. Character formation, the role of fathers in character formation is very, 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 very important. And I want to say that, for instance, a father, the way you love your wife, even at home, that alone is a key factor in forming your children's character. The way they will relate to ladies, girls at school, and their wives in future. So if you don't have that fatherliness in the home, the upbringing of the children, they lose a lot.
Yeah.
They lose a lot. You know, one of the things I took from my dad is the way he related with my mom. No matter how my mom reacts, you'll never see my dad going angry. He'd rather pick his shirt and move out of the house. He is the slow to anger type. My mom is, she'll pick it up once she sees it. She'll say it as it is. So there was always peace at home, no matter how the situation is. And so that was part of me. And there's one thing my dad said, I didn't understand them then. I want to share. He said, Fee, a woman...
Oh, so your father also called you Fee?
Well, he did. But I don't, like I said, and then they said, yeah, my wife, a friend, yeah,
and you just said your wife, Fee. Yeah. I really want to hear her mention the name.
I will arrange for that.
I'd like to hear it, seriously.
Now, we do a direct call.
A direct call. We'll call your home. We'll call your wife.
All right. She said, a woman is always a woman, no matter what. That was what he told me. You know, I didn't understand then, but now I do. As a man, there's always a basic role you play in the upbringing of your children. Irrespective of how strong your woman is, irrespective of the strength of the woman, I mean, both in finances and whatever, that fatherliness is always important.
Yeah.
Great. Nee?
Say, in times past, you need to have the scenario as if it's a patriarchal system. The man should show the manliness.
Of course.
In order to make the home what it is. If you read Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart, Okonkwo was that sort of person.
Yeah, that character.
You know, coming out as a strong man and with 3 wives, beating everybody. Everybody, just to keep them in line. The other book by Chinua Achebe, Antilles of the Savannah, there was also one BB, one of the characters, major character, BB. She said she didn't see the father beating the mom, but there were times she saw the mom, you know, wiping off some tears off her face.
Okay.
And then the eyes looking red. You could tell the man, you know, but we've gone past that system. If you continue in that way, the earlier picture I painted of you creating a wedge then becomes the norm. And nobody wants a situation where you grow up with your child, especially when the fee payment, the hospitals, the accommodation, provision of accommodation, food needs, etc. The majority of those things will fall on your shoulders as the man, and then you grow up with your children without any bonding, without any friendship amongst you. It hurts.
It does.
And you could tell, look, there's a scenario of this man, an absentee father, who never bothered. When the child grew up, the child became a lawyer. And you know what? The child was then staying in, I think, East Legon. But he worked at the judicial service here in Accra. And so whenever they had closed from work, he joined us to play draft, just to while away time so he could go on. And then the father would come and take a seat by a certain kenke seller near the gutter and look across the road to watch the son play. It was later when the man was introduced to the son, well, this is your father. He just shed a tear and they said, well, he would still like them to remain that way. Once in a while, he would throw some money in his direction, but there was no bonding.
No relationship.
It wasn't there.
Yeah. So, see, an absentee father, once it's created, the onus then falls on the woman to make sure that the children will grow up and grow up well. A typical example is the Hoy brothers. I mean, they did some adverts in the paper, and I think their father died some 40 years ago, or is it 50 years ago? And the pictures they brought, you could tell one was 7, one was 9. But the mom created the environment, which I'm sure with the help of some family members, they were able to bring them up. Today, look at them. It is not all lost if the father decides to neglect the family. It is not all lost. Because, like Doc was saying, I mean, unless God builds the house, the builder builds in vain. Forgive my... No, I'm a Christian. Don't think of me as... No, because I just didn't want to give the direct quotation. That's why I was just, you know, paraphrasing. But I can really give that quotation. And so the builder builds...
No, he doesn't say anything.
The builder builds in vain.
Yeah.
And so once the God factor is allowed to take charge in that family where the father or supposed father is missing, look, you can always have a way. And indeed, in today's world, you have kids with this technological world we have around us. Kids overgrowing their age. So they also try to have their way around you. But look, you can be firm, fair, and make a playground in your home. Once they know they need to go to school, come back, do their homework, have whatever meal there is, and then go to bed. I'm sure they can all succumb to the mom's control, and then they grow up as is expected of everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
So the God factor is necessary.
It is very necessary.
Necessary, yeah.
Up a child. So if you're just joining us, we are in the men's lounge. I have Sylvester and I have Nee here. We are going to go for our next break, but before we go for the break, I'm going to show you something. Of course, men, we like to look good, we like to dress well. I have some fashion tip for you. Please watch this. Send us your messages and we'll read them. And then also I'm going to open the phone lines, which is 0555 657278. Feel free to phone in. Tell us what you think about what we are talking about. Ask us all the questions you want to. I have Dean, very experienced, and Sylvester, who is trying to be smart over here, pretending he doesn't know certain things. But we'll report him to the wife definitely.
Oh, we will.
After here, I'll call your wife. I'm telling you.
No, we're going to place a direct call.
But straight to Facebook. Let's see some of the comments we have. So a bad father is worse than an absentee father. This is coming from Skills Wonder. Skills, thank you for your contribution. Most moms today are working moms, but they find a way to bond with their kids. The excuse of not having enough time and work schedules is not just an issue of priorities. Again, the fact that you, the dad, are home does not mean you are with them. My wife taught me the difference between the meaning of being home and being with the family. It is the quality of time you spend with them that matters, and not the quality of time you spend with them. Well, Skills again. Skills, thank you so much for your contribution. I think Nee did speak a little bit about that earlier. So please feel free to call us 0555657278. We are here to speak with you. Nee, now I don't want to go to what you said. Let's just pretend.
I didn't say anything.
You didn't say anything, so I shouldn't report you, right?
Oh, no, something rather struck me.
Okay.
Like an absentee father is worse than a bad, or is it?
Well, so let me just go back. So he says that. So a bad father is worse than an absentee father.
I think I put the two together. Why should you be a bad father? Why should you be an absentee father? You need to be around. And like somebody rightly said, and we, also mentioned, I mean, the time you spend with your family should be a special quality time. Yeah. So that when you are not there, they always be yearning for you to come back. And that's about what you should be.
There's one thing I've been thinking about. So we have kids, female, male. A lot of the time you realize that the female ones are more closer to the father and then the male more closer to the mother. Now, my question here is, so how, being a father, how do you treat the two? I mean, is there some special ways you help in developing the female child and then the male child?
Well, I think this one, Nini is in the best position because he has both sex. I would be able to speak more on the boys because I've got two guys. For me, like, they are humans, and so they have their characters are different. You know, what my first boy, Anna Benin, he is the talkative type. We called him the talking drum. You know, he will want to say whatever comes to mind. But the second born, K, he's a reserved type. He would take his time to talk. You see, so sometimes I have to listen to both of them differently. Nana will talk and talk and talk and talk. He wants you to listen to him. But the other is not that way. He will take his time. So I think that because I don't have the experience of bringing up a girl, I may not be able to speak to bringing up the girl's child.
It's interesting, but whenever I've been asked which of my children I like the most, I tend to think that it's an unfair question. We are all humans.
Yeah.
There are times some of them will do things that will make you like them and share some ideas with them. There are times they annoy you, you beat them up, and then you draw closer to them and tell them, well, this is why I beat you, don't do that again and stuff. You always are closer to your last born because you need to, you know, cuddle them. Even when they are wrong, sometimes you tell them, look, don't be naughty and stuff like that. And then you know, so it's very much to the annoyance of all persons in the family because whenever he does something wrong, but I mean, this is a 2-3-year-old kid. I have my last born. He bears my name. He's about 7 years old. And I keep saying all last borns are accidental borns.
Like me.
All last borns are a mistake, you know. So my first 15, second 14, the last is 7.
That's quite some distance.
Yeah. And you want to draw closer to him because you want to grow up with him in order to make him straight. Yeah. These ones you've led the way for them already, so they know what to do. But here you have to, and so they tend to think that you like him more. But when he's wrong, you also check him out. The whole idea is women grow faster, they mature faster. And for me, once they grow in, you begin to notice that she's transiting from a girlish behavior to a mature lady into a woman. So you begin to treat them differently. I mean, there are things she cannot ask you, especially if the mom is not around. So you dole out some monies every now and then, just so she can buy her sanitary.
It doesn't mean you don't know.
Yeah, you know, but you don't want to, you know.
Anyway, so, Nee, I would have loved that you keep talking and talking and talking, but unfortunately, it's interesting how the time runs and we don't even realize it.
Oh.
Maybe we should start doing 1 hour, 30 minutes, perhaps.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, because we don't have enough time. But we are grateful. We are thankful. We thank you for staying tuned. We thank you for being with us this evening. We're back on your screens next week, Thursday, and we have a surprise for you. Thank you very much, Nee.
Yeah, Charlie.
Thank you very much, Sylvester. He said we shouldn't call you free. We'll call your wife after here.
All right.
So, good evening. Thank you, and have a good night.
Yeah.
I will sing and shout hallelujah. Thanks for the good you've been doing to me. Hey, Ratiana, mama said, me the met to Hosanna. Send no be me no be magana. Thanks for the good you've been doing to me. Hey, Ratiana, mama said, one to my name, hallelujah, hallelujah. Praise the Lord, hallelujah. Thanks for the good you've been doing to me. Hey, Ratiana, mama said, one to my name, hallelujah, hallelujah. Thanks for the good you've been doing to me. Hey, Ratiana, mama said, 1992, me say them new who, and it matter who. Now rap see me so, and chef and town, I'm sure Jamie Kofi, Vim many raps, and I brand here you will be. Near Master Sandy, Sonia, Diaby Refi, Kai said me who so.